We're here on Hamilton Avenue in Palo Alto where, 6 years ago, my entire perspective on the role of government changed. Driving my grandma from her apartment to my parents' house for family dinner, about a mile stretch down Hamilton, I listened as she groaned in pain as we drove over every pothole in the road, and there were far too many of them. Like Palo Alto, California has been living off of major civic investments that we made in the 1960s. It's long past time that we refocus on, reinvest in, and strengthen California's infrastructure, those foundational assets we need to thrive as a state for the next 50 years. 68% of California's roads are rated in poor and mediocre condition, and 47% of our bridges, which are typically built to last 50 years, are more than 50 years old. A recent national study rated California's highways as the worst in the nation, with 51% of our highway miles rated in poor condition. As a result, Bay Area drivers spend an extra $1,700 a year on car repairs and congestion-related delays. By 2028, no stretch of California highways should be rated in poor condition. But infrastructure is more than just roads and bridges. We've done a good job of encouraging auto manufacturers to develop electric vehicles and encouraging consumers to buy them, but we haven't built the network of electric vehicle charging stations capable of reliably keeping these vehicles on the road. San Diego's leading car sharing service just announced that they used to use 100% electric vehicles, but they're now going to transition their fleet to 100% gas-powered cars because there aren't enough charging stations, which are the infrastructure necessary to keep those cars running. We're moving in the wrong direction. By 2028, California must have a statewide network of EV charging stations capable of meeting current and future demand. Our economic growth and competitiveness is increasingly determined by access to reliable, high-speed broadband services. Yet only 62% of Californians have access to faster broadband speeds, with residents in coastal and rural communities disproportionately impacted by a lack of access. By 2028, every Californian should have access to faster broadband services that unlock additional educational and commercial opportunities. California's infrastructure impacts us on a daily basis, and the longer we wait to rebuild it, the more expensive it'll become. That's why this issue is so important to me, and why I have led on the efforts to improve Palo Alto's infrastructure both before and during my time on the Palo Alto City Council. After that drive with my grandma 6 years ago, I applied to serve on Palo Alto's Infrastructure Blue Ribbon Commission. Together with fellow residents, we came up with a plan to make Palo Alto's roads the best in the Bay Area by 2019, to rebuild 2 fire stations that were originally built in 1948 and 1953, to build a new seismically safe public safety building, and to fully fund our bicycle and pedestrian master plan. Since being elected to the Palo Alto City Council, I have led on the efforts to identify and set aside the funding for these critical infrastructure improvements. I'm excited to take that focus and experience to Sacramento to improve our infrastructure throughout Silicon Valley and the state. It's imperative that we reinvest in our infrastructure to prepare ourselves to grow and succeed in the 21st century economy. But I want to hear what you think. I hope you'll join the conversation on my website at voteberman.com or on our Facebook page at facebook.com/voteberman. Together, we can take on the critical infrastructure challenges that we're facing throughout Silicon Valley and California.